Hello, everyone. We're going to wait one moment while to allow everybody to join the event. Welcome.
I'm going to apologize ahead of time. My dog has chosen this very moment to pick up his echidna toy and just honk her. So I'm really sorry. I'm trying very hard to keep that sound out of here.
Amy, I think it's all right. I'm sure everybody understands. It's the joy of Zoom life these days. Alrighty, thanks for joining, everyone. We're just going to take another minute or so and let some folks join and trickle in before we get started. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started now. My name is Natalie Rudd, and I am the Programs Manager at the National Women's Hall of Fame. And I, along with Amy here from Finger Lakes Pride, are your hosts this evening for the event Inspiring All. We are joined by our spotlight speaker, Wanda Martinez-Johncox, as well as our signer for the evening, Jaden Abrams. So everybody give them a warm welcome. Before we get started, I like to give a little logistics, some few housekeeping details that I'll go through now. This evening, Amy is going to be leading a moderated discussion with Wanda, and then afterwards, we will be hosting a live question and answer session. You can submit your questions using the Q&A icon at the bottom of your box. We will also be moderating the chat, so if you ask there, we'll make sure to check there as well. If you experience any technical difficulties throughout the webinar, I recommend leaving the webinar completely and then rejoining. That being said, that tonight's event is also being recorded. So if you have any troubles tonight, you can watch the video or rewatch it at any time. We will send out a link in an email after the event to the video, as well as it will be on our website at womenofthehall.org. When the event is over, we will have a small survey that will pop up on your screen, and we do ask that you complete the survey. It's a huge help for us, and we really appreciate it. It should only take maybe a minute or so. And finally, as you know, tonight's event is free, and these virtual forums are critical to continuing our not-for-profit mission of showcasing great women and inspiring all. And this includes making hall events as accessible for all learners. That includes those with limited physical abilities or lack of financial means. So please consider making a small donation to the National Women's Hall of Fame. Every dollar helps, really. And finally, if you enjoyed tonight's event and you want to learn more, feel free to sign up for the National Women's Hall of Fame e-newsletter. We can be the first to know about all National Women's Hall of Fame events and opportunities to get involved. All of these links can be found in the email sent after the event, as well as on our website. Without further ado, I'm going to give a small intro for Wanda, and then I'll let Amy take it over. Wanda here. Wanda, give a big hi. Wanda was raised in San Lorenzo, Puerto Rico, and then she worked at the Canandaigua Veteran Affairs Medical Center for almost 11 years. She was their first LGBTQ Veterans Care Coordinator for the Canandaigua, Bath, and Rochester VA, and their LGBT and Special Emphasis Programs Manager. During her time at the VA, Wanda received the following awards. I'm going to give you a little awards, Wanda. You were Nurse of the Year in 2010, Caregiver of the Year, the Phenomenal Woman Award, and the 2015 iCare Award for the Advocate for LGBTQ Veterans. Wanda was also one of the recipients of the Empire State Pride Agenda's 2015 Community Champions Award. She was a member and is a member of the Out Alliance's education team for then from 2008 to 2019. And she was the LGBT president at the Rochester, New York, Puerto Rican Parade for 4 years. And then finally, she was the ROC Pride Grand Marshall in 2017, which is a very big deal. And in case, that wasn't enough, To keep her busy. Wanda is a volunteer at the Susan B. Anthony House and Museum, which we at the Hall love, one of our close partners. And she is currently a board member of the LGBTQ Health Initiative and Partnership for Ontario County, And currently, Wanda is the president and CEO of the Relief Corporation, which helps people during and after disaster relief, which is why she's joining us today from Honduras, which is very exciting. So thank you for joining us all the way from Honduras, Wanda. We are so excited to have you here today. I'm now going to pass the mic over to Amy, who's going to lead us into our moderated questions. And if you have any questions throughout Amy and Wanda's discussion, please put them in the chat. We'll be watching them the whole time. And afterwards, we'll go ahead and ask them of Wanda herself. So Amy, take it away.
Thank you, Natalie. So my introduction is a lot less impressive than Wanda's is. We're so excited to have Wanda here tonight. She's just an absolute powerhouse. So really quickly, my name is Amy. I use she, her, hers pronouns. I'm one of the program coordinators for the LGBTQ Center. We're so grateful to be able to put this program on tonight as part of our Pride celebration. And Wanda, thank you so much for joining us from Honduras. I don't know that we've ever gotten to say we have somebody international.
Bits for upstate. So pretty exciting because it's a passion that I have, and leaving the VA, I thought I was going to lose it, but we have a lot of work to do still. So I'm glad that I'm able to continue do what I can do.
So, and speaking of, again, having a foot in every single camp, you're in Honduras right now. So do you mind talking a little bit about what you're doing right now and how all of these different trips abroad, what you do on them?
Yeah, so one of the reasons why I'm in Honduras is they have 2 hurricanes last year, back to back. It's like a week apart. And the place was flooded, the airport, many people lose their home. Many people get fed twice a week here because the government is not helping, or one way, whatever reason it is. So the reason I started helping other community, 2017, Puerto Rico got hit with Maria. Even though I've been around hurricanes, earthquakes, and many other, nothing like Maria happened in Puerto Rico. So going back home to help, it opened my eyes. I saw my island destroyed, and I felt like I couldn't do enough. And I promised myself that day that not only Puerto Rico, but I would like to help other places who are in need. I'm only one person, so I always look for volunteers who want to do this kind of venturing. So Honduras, by their hurricane, they got destroyed. So we fed today 500 people who lost their home, and they only get fed twice a week. It is pretty bad situation here right now about the government and not getting the help. And that's what happened in Puerto Rico. And that's how I felt like, wow, I need to come and give it a hand, whatever I can. So I don't do it alone. A lot of people donate stuff to their organizations that are called Relief Corporation. They donate stuff, or they want to come and join me and come and give it a hand. And it's that, you learn a lot. And when you come back to your home, you realize, wow, and for me, it's like I say, it's an addiction besides chocolate and ice cream that I have addiction. It's an addiction to give back because I've been out there, I've been homeless, I've been not having food, and I just, if I have a breath in my body, I just wanted to give back. So I even also help with the homeless in Rochester. So not only international, I also do it at home. We've been to Bahamas with Dorian. So we just helped before we came here to St. Vincent from the earthquake. And they had 3 eruptions over there. So I'm hoping that I can continue and people can continue donating so we can continue feeding people and helping people and building homes. So that's what we're doing here. And we'll be here for the next into June 30th. So yes.
Wow, what a ton of work you're doing. So this next question kind of makes me laugh. I know that you are a very inspiring person to a lot of other people, I myself included. But what women inspire you?
Oh, that's an amazing question. It does make me laugh too. A lot of, I have a lot of inspired women from past and present. From the past, since little, Mother Teresa is my number one. And I always wanted to, nobody can be like Mother Teresa, but she inspired me so much. And believe it or not, Susan B. Anthony. My daughter taught me so much about Susan B. Anthony, and I didn't know about her until I came to the state, and my daughter taught me about her. So people who from the past are the one who open up the road for me to continue doing the work. I mean, they did the worst, and I'm just here to continue doing the work. People from the present, I admire so much. Emily Jones in the community is amazing. It just, people like Emily Jones, Evelyn Bailey, people like Ann Tischer. Bess Watts is the wife of Ann Tischer. She's veteran. People like that who has done the work, and I'm just a follower. You know, they have opened and they have been arrested. They've been done, and I just want to continue the work. My number one inspired woman is my daughter. She is women's rights. She works for the Susan B. Anthony Museum. She's the reason why I do a lot of this stuff, and she has taught me so much about women's rights and being inspired. So my daughter is 15. When I first voted, they denied me to vote here. And she said, Mom, you're going to be Susan B. Anthony. I'm like, Susan who? And she was in elementary. And I didn't know about Susan B. Anthony. And that's why she volunteered in the Susan B. Anthony. A lot of people think because she is a lady of color, my daughter, they always question, why did you follow Susan B. Anthony when you're not, you're Black? And she tells people that Susan B. Anthony inspired her because myself now as a Puerto Rican, a lot of people don't think that we can vote. I was denied voting because people don't think Puerto Rico is part of the United States. She wanted to make that voice how powerful it is to vote. It doesn't matter what party, just to go out there. Susan B. Anthony got arrested for us. And that's why she volunteered and stuff like that. And so she inspired me, and I learn every day. Today we are 2 hours behind from New York. So actually she texts me to remind me that I have 2 hours to get into the car. So she inspired me every day.
That's so wonderful. So we have one last question for you, and then I know Natalie has had some questions submitted. So you do a lot of work, a lot of education, a lot of advocacy. How can our non-LGBTQ identifying viewers and community members learn more about how to be an ally?
Oh my goodness. So the community has a lot, Emmy and Mitchell, you have the group in Geneva that is with the LGBTQ. I tell people, get involved in the community. Listen to their story. Just work with somebody, be open-minded, ask questions. I love when people ask me questions. People like apologize all the time. Ask me questions. I want you to get to know me for who I am. Doesn't matter if it's because I'm a lesbian or because I'm Puerto Rican, because I'm a mother, because I'm a wife, all these beautiful things that is what make a human being. People ask questions. So I want people to get involved, give back. Doesn't matter how little you think, how Pride is this month, and it continue through next month because we are lucky enough to be, some people go to Rochester Pride. So be involved in the community and be an ally. people think, am I an ally? I'm an ally to the bisexual community, to the transgender community, to the queer, it just being an ally and just try to understand, love each other. But there is so much way, how can you be volunteer in the community? You can be a volunteer in the National Women Hall of Fame. You can be volunteer. There's so much to do in the community. And Susan B. Anthony, there's so much going on in the community. Just if you don't know, reach out to me, reach out to Amy, of how can you be involved in the community, and we make sure that you get busy.
I unmuted myself and immediately muted myself again. So we're learning every day. Is there any last plugs that you have that you wanted to make, or any other thoughts that you think you'd really like to drive home before we turn it over to Natalie?
Actually, I visited the National Women Hall of Fame, and wow, I just was so inspired by somebody that I look up to that I didn't mention earlier, but I didn't know she was in the National Women Hall of Fame, is Sotomayor, the judge, because she's Puerto Rican. So sometimes somebody like me, I try to look up to. So I thought that was very inspired for me to see her there. But one final thought is that we all been through good and bad. My story is different than your story. I can just speak for myself. I don't speak for every lesbian. I don't speak for all Puerto Rican. But you have a special story to tell. You're not comfortable sharing your story. Try to be involved. Try to inspire. If you have kids always watching you. And just try to give a hand. There's other organizations that you can do stuff like Habitat for Humanity and stuff like that. So try to be inspired, and that's what I try to do, because we cannot wait for government or anything. This is our country too. This is our planet, and we need to take care of it. If we don't do it, who will? And let me tell you, you will sleep so good at night when you do it, to look back at what you did. Plus, I go home and show my kids. Actually, I was FaceTiming them, and so they can see around. So just being an advocate for the kids, for the youth. And there's never an age to start. So, start tomorrow, start tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much again, Wanda. I appreciate you taking your time to be with us and answer these questions and be as vulnerable with us as you were. So thank you again. Natalie, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Great. That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Wanda. Thank you, Amy. That was really inspiring, Wanda. Thank you. I think that was you just made my heart so warm. And I love that you included your daughter as one of the people that inspires you. I met your daughter when you came and visited, and honestly, she inspires me too. She is an incredible young woman. So I can understand that. We had a few questions submitted ahead of time, and actually you just answered one of them. The question was, do you have a favorite inductee at the National Women's Hall of Fame?
I'm sorry that I answered.
No, that's okay. I mean, obviously people want to know, so I'm glad you answered. One of the other questions that was asked is, can you tell us a little more about being a lifelong member of the Catholic Church and an active member of the LGBTQ community? I can imagine that you must get pushback from both communities.
Correct. I do get pushback by both sides of the community. Catholic, of course, they don't welcome LGBT. There is a lot of church that does welcome LGBT, but the Catholics still, there's a lot of church in Rochester and even in Canandaigua who are welcome LGBT, but the Catholics still pretty strict. And being a lesbian, a lot of people is like, how can you be a lesbian and be a Catholic in the same time? Why you don't go to another religion? Or so I do visit a lot of different religions. Actually, last night I was here in the church that they have, a little house. And For me, I don't feel that one thing have to do with the other. I mean, actually, I feel that God is the one who give me the strength and help me to continue living. He's the one who saved me when I didn't have nobody because of my suicide thoughts. And he gave me the purpose to, do something about it. So what I tell people is when I go to church, I go to church. I'm there to talk to God. I'm there to help, ask for help to God to guide me to continue doing the work that he wants me to do. And in the community, and pride is pride. So there is a time for everything, but it's never, a lot of people think that one is separate from the other. And I never feel myself to be separate. And people ask me all the time. I have people ask me many times, even my own sisters would tell me, I think you're the only lesbian that is Catholic, but I don't think so. I think there's more over there. We just don't talk about it for one way, the reason. But I love my religion. I would not change for any way, for any reason at all. So this is a funny story. My family is very Catholic in Puerto Rico, and my grandmother, me being a lesbian, it was a no-no for her. I'm the oldest granddaughter. And my sister switched religion. And when my sister switched religion, my grandmother said, I prefer to have a lesbian granddaughter than somebody else to switch religion. So high five to sister. so it's how it is, religions with sexual orientation. It's just weird, but it's always, people always pushing back. But I got married in a church and I didn't want it any other way, dressed in white dress. And I'm really proud to be who I am, 100%.
That's amazing. Thank you. Again, thank you for being so vulnerable with us. I think that's really special. And I think it's really important to share that we all come from, like you said, some different backgrounds.
Yes.
We've mentioned it a few times today that it is Pride. And another question somebody asked is, what does Pride mean to you? Why is Pride special for you?
Oh my goodness. So it is so important to me because growing up, I didn't have Pride. So not only wearing rainbow, or anything like that, but we should be who we are every time. But here in Honduras, it's not okay to be, LGBT. So I'm so happy that where we live and we have Pride. And I love it when we have 5 different organizations having Pride, so it just, and actually my kids love more Pride than I do. So Pride is to be who yourself, probably the opportunity for you to come out if you're not out, of course, do it safely. But for me, it's just to the rainbow, the flag, I see the flag and it's just amazing. And I live in Canandaigua, so to see more flags before I used to not see the Pride flag, I was like, wow, the community is getting like better and great. Or see in the store to see a flag, it's like they welcome us. So so it is weird because they can hear my accent and they know that I'm not from here or I'm Puerto Rican or something, but they don't know that I'm LGBT. So to see a flag for me is a welcoming, and so I love Pride, and I think Pride we should be every day.
I think we all agree, that's for sure. That's wonderful. And yeah, visibility is really important. Here in the chat, Karen just asked, in what church were you married?
Good question. So I wanted to get married like my family. In a church, they was as close as I could, they would be Catholic. So a lot of people know about the Spiritu Christi. Spiritu Christi Church used to be a Roman Catholic church. They started to marry LGBT and Roman. In Italy, they were like, you cannot do that anymore. You can be Catholic, but not Roman Catholic, whatever that means. So I wanted to do it as close as I could to be, and the architect to Catholic Church is really important to me too. So Spiritu Christi is the closest one that I could ever to get married to be a Catholic church. a good question. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that is a really good question. And then Greta says here, it's more of a comment than a question, but I'd like to share it with you anyways. It's really lovely. They say, thank you for your willingness to share your story. Thank you for letting your beautiful light shine despite your painful experience. I honor you and your daughter.
Oh, thank you so much. That was really touching.
It is. And I think it shows that stories like yours, Wanda, are very powerful. And I think learning a lot about people with varied backgrounds like yourself is really important, especially for our younger generations, which really brings me into another question that we had gotten was, what would you say for a young, or any advice you would give for a young person who is struggling to come out to their parents, to their family? Do you have any advice that you might give?
Wow, that is a tough and really good question, because, you know, a lot of time we tell people just come out, but actually, I want to tell this to the youth is that when you come out, make sure that you are in a safe place. I don't want you to be homeless. I don't want you to go through some of the stuff that I went through, but reach out to the LGBT in the community. I know there is so many. Talk to somebody. Be around positive people. If they do not accept you, it's okay. Be around positive people. Respect. I do respect everybody who tell me negative or positive, but my group of people who I'm surrounding is very small. I know a lot of people, but it's very small because I want to make sure there is a positive vibe, you know? So be safe first. And if you need help, reach out. And not only to the LGBT community, but I'm here too. Reach out to myself, to anybody to talk, have a cup of coffee, have chocolate, and talk about it over and over again. I will not get sick of it. Because it's the best therapy to talk about it. And, you know, and believe it or not, you're struggling, your family are struggling too. It's a process that we all go through. It was a process for me of why I'm like this. It was a process for my mom. But you know what? When I was the Grand Marshal, my mother surprised me and she came here to celebrate with me. So have hope, because there is time that things can come around. Don't be part of the community, because like that you can educate your own family too, your friends, and you can, you know, talk to them when they give you some hard conversation. But if they don't welcome you or whatever, don't try to change them. Just be around people who love you for who you are. It's not worth it.
Thank you, Wanda. That was beautiful. That was really, really special. I think that's an important message that I hope all of our young audience members get to hear. Another question that Mitch just asked is, what is the name of your relief organization and where can supporters of your work donate?
Yes, good question. So a lot of people don't know, because I work with so many groups. I work with the climate change. I work with so many groups, how we can, you know, take care of Mother Earth. So my organization called Relief is hyphenated, RE hyphenated Leaf. It's a corporation that we, right here in Canandaigua, not right here in Canandaigua, I'm in Honduras. I forgot where I am until I go outside, how hot it is. So in Canandaigua, New York, and how can people can donate with money, but I like people who donate stuff, like we brought a lot of sleeping bags. People are sleeping in the floor. People were like, you know, I don't use this sleeping bag. We brought a lot of sleeping bag. We brought backpacks. You know, we brought reusable water bottle, because here they drink in a plastic bag. They don't have cups and stuff like that. So donate whatever you can. You know, you think it's a little bit, but for here it's a lot. Not only here, but different many countries. When they lose everything, for them is everything can be donated. Also come on a trip with us and, give your time and get to know some of these kids, and just giving a hug and talk to them and line up their day. So that's how you can just come with us if you want to.
Awesome, thank you. And we'll be sure for everybody, we'll be sure to include any links and all that information, as well as contact info. If you have any more follow-up questions, you can follow up with us and ask Wanda questions as need be, so that you can get that information. And then we got another question from Amy that says, what is your piece of queer media / literature / art?
I'm sorry, what was that again?
So what is your favorite piece of queer media, literature, or art? So favorite book, artwork.
You have no idea,
Amy, anything.
I have so many pieces. I know you're going to think this is weird, but I collect the Last Supper art, the original one. Like, well, not original because in Italy, but the closest one. I collect them, a lot of them. And the last piece that I have in home is huge. It was by a nun. It was given it to me. It was in their convent. So I love art. I love history. I love the book of Florence Nightingale, a nurse who helped the veterans when they were hurt. She's an amazing book. Oh my God, there's so many. I read a lot. A lot of history, because I learn and I think about sometime what would I do if I was in that time. But it is just inspirational to me. But that's one of the art that I love is the Last Supper. Wow. I really love it. Really love it.
That's
you
awesome.
Come to my house and you will see many Last Supper.
That's awesome. Yeah. We got another question over here in the Q&A box from Alicia, and she says, shout out to Wanda from the Bahamas. She came to us with hurricane relief after Hurricane Dorian, and it was so great to meet her and her wife. So I would say I'm excited to see your reaction, Wanda.
Oh my God, you're going to make me cry. This is crazy.
And this is why these forums are so great, is we can connect from so far. I think this is amazing. And she says here, not only in addition to all the help they gave, it was fantastic for me as a queer woman to see a WLW couple, so a woman-loving woman couple. Question for Wanda. She does have a question for you, as well as giving you a lot of love. Oh, I love this. Alicia asks, sometimes we bond over trauma, and that is so easy to happen for the LGBTQ plus people who have been estranged from family. Any tips on building strong, healthy relationships that are not based on shared trauma? Really,
oh my God, Alicia, you really
beautiful question.
Oh my God. If you know Alicia, it's just, oh my goodness. I cannot, I'm serious, Alicia. How can you make me in tears? Oh, Alicia, she make us feel so comfortable. We were in Bahamas, of us as an LGBT couple in Bahamas, because, it's not okay and safe over there. So when we find out that she was in the LGBT community, she was an angel to us. And still with this St. Vincent, she was the head of let's go and help, because oh my God, so she's amazing. But the trauma, I knew you were going to ask some hard questions.
Talk about it, Wanda. You said you were open to it, and that wasn't even me.
Oh no, yes, I am, because it is a good question that people don't ask about it. Mm-hmm. So I really love that she asked that question. God bless you, Alicia. I think, oh my God, that is so hard. It is so hard about when somebody had that kind of a trauma. You get into the suicidal thought, or if you were, different trauma, can be rape and stuff like that. One of the things that naturally, because Alicia bring this out, the Bahamas have is Bahamas Equality Group, who does a lot of things for women, and I think she's more expert in this stuff, but I think the trauma is really. I'm involved with the suicide prevention because you see so many people. It's a wound that it will never be closed. But I think that's why I do what I do. Is the best therapy. But wow, Alicia, you put me like you really. I haven't had that question, and it's a good question. It's a good question. So, Alicia, what do you think about? Tell me a little bit. How can we do that?
I mean, we can't allow her to talk, but Wanda, it says so do you have any tips? But if not, we can also move on if you feel like you want to take a step back from this question.
Yeah, ask me the question one more time. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Oh my gosh. I mean, you're hearing from an old friend on a forum that you weren't expecting to. You are put on the spot. The question was, any tips on building strong, healthy relationships that are not based on shared trauma?
It is really complicated. It is, but I know it can be done. I'm not sure. Yes, Alicia, you really got me.
And that's
Nobody
okay. You don't have to be the expert on everything, Wanda. That's not what we expect from you.
She's the expert on that. She is the expert on that.
And say, Alicia, can you give us a little in the chat? I mean, it's a very hard question, and it is, I think, very layered as well. There's a lot of aspects to that question. Well, maybe I'm curious, kind of going off of that, is you and your wife, how long have you been together, and how did you meet, if nothing else, so that you can still hear about your healthy relationship?
We've been together for, it will be in July, 9 years. We met actually in the Pride kickoff in Rochester. And a funny story, I did not like her. I did not want to ever see her again. We spoke by messaging, and then a year later we met again, and she is the most amazing human being, such a supporter. I could not have done what I do today without her. She is such a giving, loving person. When I am like stressed, she's the one who calms me down. She's like oh my goodness, she's my everything. I love her so much. She's not here right now, but actually she went for dinner. But she is the most amazing person. She's from Peñan. I met her in Geneseo, and my kids love her more than they love me, because I'm the rules, and when they want something, they go to her. But she's such a blessing to us, and the great thing is she loves Puerto Rican food, so that's a plus. She's amazing. One of the things that we do is, one of the things we have learned is, because we are so busy, is we spend dinner or having a conversation or walking together something once every 2 weeks. Once every 2 weeks, just me and her. Phone, nothing, everything off completely, because sometimes it's like get to know each other all over again. No matter how many years you have together, you get to know each other, the person, what did they like, what they don't like anymore. And at the same time, because I'm Catholic and I met her, that she wasn't religion. We met in the middle. So that's something that we have to get to know each other. We had different backgrounds. And so everything, it was try to be open, communications, supporting each other. If she's happy, I don't care what she does. If I'm happy, the same thing. And we just, in the end of the night, we talk, and it's like loving her more every day because she is amazing. She is great. I cannot just imagine doing this without her at all. So she just, I don't know.
That's beautiful. Really, I think you just made my heart melt a little bit. That was, I think, absolutely incredible. I'm at a loss for words. And on top of it, we have a message from Alicia as well in the chat. So Wanda, I can read it to you really quickly because I think she has some really, really great information in here. She says, Wanda mentioned therapy, and I think that's a great starting point for us for sure. It's so hard to separate our trauma from our emotions and how we bond with other people. I guess we have to be honest about what we've gone through and what we're still working on, and do regular check-ins about how we are feeling in life, about each other, and about our pasts. I think if we don't check in enough, we kind of get used to get together because we are together. And it's not really being sure we want to be together because we love each other and honor each other. And then she says, oh yes, what Wanda is saying now about regular dates, being able to have time that's just together and not getting lost in the sauce of life all the time. I think that is beautiful and wonderful advice. I'd love to hear your response, Wanda.
Yes, because, you know, we have kids too. So we have something that we spend time with the kids, we spend time with ourselves too, and then with each other. And that's very important that we make sure we have those in our schedule, because we can, so busy, we can just communication and just, so it is very important. I believe we always do something for each other. It's simple as, you know, my wife likes to put notes in my coffee, you know, remember that I love you so much, or something, to put a chocolate under my pillow, you know, because I love chocolate, you know. So she does stuff like that. She just completely like remind me why we're together, or something. We're so busy, like, oh yeah, oh my God, thank you, I love you, you know, something. But yeah, it is important because we like to spend time with the kids too. We like to do fun things with the kids, but it's important for us to be just with each other. Oh, for ourselves too, spend time for ourselves, because we need ourselves to, you know, meditate or do some of this stuff. So thank you, Alicia. Thank you for the reminder.
That was wonderful. And I think that's a really kind of perfect note to kind of wrap things up on, because I think one of the best parts of Pride is remembering that it's all about love at the end of the day, and that it's all about loving each other and just allowing us to love who we want to love, and celebrating that, which I think is beautiful and obviously is very radiant with you and your wife, Wanda, and the way that you talk about her. I want to hand it over to Mitch to tell us a little bit about Pride and Finger Lakes Pride before we start wrapping things up, because it's really exciting. And then we'll kind of slowly start ending our evening.
Thanks, Natalie. So we are shockingly already at the end of June. It flew by very quickly, but we really appreciate so much everyone joining us tonight. And Wanda, it's always wonderful to reconnect with you, and we thank you so much. So we do have a couple of events to round out the month still after tonight. Tomorrow night, we are having the live Q&A about the documentary Cured, which talks about the battle to declassify homosexuality as a mental illness in the United States. And one of the featured psychiatrists from the film and one of the producers of the film, as well as Ann Nowak from our Western New York chapter of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, are our panelists for tomorrow. So that's going to be another fabulous conversation. And you can register to actually watch the film through Sunday at any time. And then our Q&A is tomorrow night at 7. And then also next week, we have added an additional event to round out the month, talking about the humanitarian Changing the Game, which covers trans student athletes, thanks to the Smith Opera House. And so that's going to be next Wednesday at 7 p.m. So just a couple more things here. And then, of course, we have a virtual fundraiser raffle that helps us keep our support groups and safe zone training and educational resources free and available all year round to people in the Finger Lakes community. So Amy, I think we'll go ahead and drop links for you to get connected with our program, because Pride is not just June. Like Wanda said, we're here year round, and we're here to help. So that information will be there. But thank you so much.
Thanks, Mitch. And we will include those links in the follow-up email as well. And Wanda, are there any last words before we end our evening tonight?
No, continue celebrating Pride no matter where you are. And please visit the Pride in your community, and visit Mitchell and Amy, and just, I don't know, it's great to be here, and it's great to, all the questions. Thank you for asking all the questions. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. No, thank you. And Amy, did you want to say one last thing about family counseling?
I would love to, and my other dog Sonic has decided to make his grand entry at the very end. At the start, it was my other dog playing with his stuffed echidna, so you got the whole family tonight.
It's all right. My dog has also joined us this evening. Yeah,
she's working from home. So I just wanted to sort of give a plug about our programming. Like we have all been saying all night long, Pride is not just a 1 month a year situation. So throughout the year, Mitch and I provide a lot of different programming. In providing education, we do our safe zone training, which is completely free. We provide 4 peer groups every month. Usually it's 2 to 3 meetings a week. So we have a lot of very specific peer groups. We have a support group for parents and families and friends of people who have come out and maybe don't know what questions to ask or what they need to know, but don't want to put that emotional labor on their family members. We have a group for trans and gender expansive adults. We have a group for just LGBTQ adults, and then we have a youth support group. All of the work that we do is free. So like we were saying, you know, Pride is a really great time for us to raise those funds to continue doing this work. So I did drop the raffle in the chat. We're on Facebook. You can always contact me and Mitch. All of our Facebook links are being dropped in the chat. Our homepage for our website's being dropped in the chat. And our agency expands beyond just doing LGBTQ service. It also does case management and domestic violence victim services and therapy. So we're sort of a one-stop shop. So I just wanted to put a plug in for our agency because we're smaller sometimes. People don't think about us, but we have a lot of love and support to give to our community. So Wanda, thank you again so much. Jaden, thank you for coming to all of our events and signing for us. Natalie, thank you so much for hosting us. And then for all of our participants, thank you for spending your evening with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Amy. That was wonderful. And yes, please utilize all of these resources, share them with everybody that you know. Like I've been saying, all of the links that are put in the chat tonight will also be in the follow-up email that you will receive tomorrow. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Finger Lakes Pride. Thank you, Wanda. Thanks can't be said enough. The National Women's Hall of Fame is really excited to be a part of Finger Lakes Pride this year. I always like to say at the end that we are always accepting nominations for new inductees. A lot of folks don't realize, but the National Women's Hall of Fame is a nomination-run organization. So we were always looking for new nominations for people to be inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame. We have an induction ceremony coming up this fall. And so if you would like to learn more, please let us know. We will absolutely send you more information about nominations and how to get involved. And with that, I just want to end with Happy Pride. Please donate to not only our organization, but also Finger Lakes Pride, to family counseling services, help Wanda out. It's a huge time to help folks because a lot of folks need it right now. So thank you so much. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their night. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Bye, everyone.